In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how Cardinal Mason makes $700,000 per month in profit from his online coaching program, and exactly how you as an online coach or creator can do the exact same thing using a simple and easy to follow three-step process of generating traffic, nurturing that traffic, and actually converting that traffic into paying customers. Okay, so the first thing Mason is doing is obviously generating traffic, because of course you can't sell an info product, a mentorship, or any sort of program if nobody knows it exists, right? So he does this through two ways. Number one, organic content through platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And number two, through paid content, right? Through paid ads, through paid media, all that, right? Before we get into ads and all the paid stuff, we have to first look at what he's doing organically and understand his system, his framework that he's taking to actually generate leads from these three platforms, right? So number one, Instagram. You go to his profile, you're instantly, greeted by 140,000 followers and, him being verified. This right here is instantly building authority, right? If you're somebody with a shitty profile picture, if you're somebody who isn't verified, who has a small amount of followers, you're going to have a much harder time actually getting an audience to trust you, right? So Mason does this really well, right? If we take a look at his actual posts though, we're greeted by his initial pin post. He's got three, and then this is just another post from his profile. Instantly, you're seeing that he's showing off his lifestyle and, just building authority, right? Like he's showing off, he's living that Miami life. He's with his boys. He's hanging out with people who are also balling, right? Like TJR, Rob the Bank, Jimmy Farley. Maybe you don't know Mason, but if you just found his page and you know one of these three guys, one of these four guys, you're going to know who he is, and you're going to associate him with these guys right here. You're going to associate him with money, with success, with fame, with status, with all that, right? Like he's hanging out with Ben Bader, Rob the Bank, TJR, right? Like he's really building authority and showing his lifestyle to his audience, especially the people who are brand new and who are a little bit more on the broke side. He's really positioning himself as an authority, as a guy who's made it, as a guy who knows what he's doing. Okay, if we take a look at his actual reels, though, we notice some things, right? Number one is he's just showing off his lifestyle and posting random thoughts. A common misconception I see is that people think your reels have to be super high value, super high quality, Alex Hormozy level stuff. And the truth is, they really don't need to be, and they honestly shouldn't be, right? Like a lot of these are raw head talking videos. This is what people like TJR, people like Brez, people like, Cardinal Mason are doing to generate the most amount of traffic in the shortest amount of time, right? Like the goal of these reels isn't to get people to buy his course from them. No, it's simply to get as many views as possible, get people to know him and actually like him, right? Because a lot of these videos are simply raw head talking videos, they come off like a friend on FaceTime with you, bro. They come off honestly like really personal and really, not like course selling, but rather just, being a vibe, being somebody who's a normal human being, right? Like he's posting funny videos. He's also posting videos about his business model and just his lifestyle. Right, like this video, when my nephew asked to use my penthouse for his high school graduation party. Like that's just a funny video. But here he's talking about his actual business model. Here he's talking about Justin Bieber and his new album. Right? Like these are just videos to simply go viral, to get views, and to like cast a wide net of people to watch his content who he could then funnel down and actually get them to buy his program, right? Occasionally, though, when he does talk about his business model, he'll have videos with a call to action. Like this video, for an example, he's talking about, AI copywriting, his business model, and he has a call to action to comment Claude to receive a free training. Right, so I went ahead, I commented the word Claude, and you receive this automated text message right here. This is a link. It takes you directly to a VSL from his funnel. I'll get into his funnel, all his systems, how he actually, nurtures his audience later. But right now, I'm just going to go through the rest of these platforms, right? As for his actual highlights, so he's got two highlights, and I think he does these really well, right? Number one, his one-on-one coaching highlight, where he's showing tons of student testimonials, right? The goal here is simply to get people to trust him, right? Like the reels are to get people to know him and to like him, and then the highlights, the testimonials, they work with getting people to trust him. As for his get clients highlight, this is where he's giving value, but he's also like showing a story sequence, right? So right here, he's hooking people in, getting them to actually engage and click through all the slides. Right here, he's giving value with showing, how to get clients, right? Because with beginner copywriters, a main obstacle, that main hurdle is getting your first client, your first two clients, your first three clients. So he's got like three videos on here. He's got a picture on here of him just dropping sauce on getting clients, like outreach, sales calls, pitching, all that stuff. And then in the end, he has a call to action similar to what we saw over here, where he's saying to comment, or not to comment, to DM him a certain word, and then you're going to get put through the automated, DM sequence, where you're going to receive an automated text like this one right here, is going to take you to his VSL, which I'll get into in a second. Right? If we look at his actual stories, occasionally he's posting Instagram story sequences. So this right here is one of his highlights, but basically, right, he's giving you a hook, like some sort of opening, you could call it, something to actually get you to click through all the slides, right? Because it is a lot. He's giving you value, right? Testimonials, showing you what his like coaching program is actually about, and then giving you a call to action. If you DM him freelance, you could put through his Instagram DM sequence where you receive an automated text message to a free training and all that, which we'll get into in a second. Right? This about wraps up how he's actually generating leads through Instagram though. So this is a very good system overall. What I'd do if I were him is I'd post more often and I'd add some more highlights, as well as just like, posting story sequences a little bit more often because he doesn't post them that often. So I'd probably do that if I were him. But yeah, as for his actual TikTok, right, you go to his page, this is where most of his leads are coming from. He's got 450,000 subscribers, 9 million likes. This is where he's getting a lot of leads, a lot of views, casting a very, very, very wide net here. Right, you go to his pinned posts, you're instantly greeted by just like value, right? Like these aren't lifestyle videos, these are videos of him breaking down his business model of copywriting, right? He's building authority with these videos, and as you can see, they've got a solid amount of views, and when people see that, they know like, okay, maybe this guy knows what he's talking about. Like this video is really old. I think it's from like 3 years ago, but he's breaking down copywriting when he was just making $100,000 a year. Now he's doing 60 grand a month from his, copywriting agency, right? If we look at his actual videos though, they're really similar to his Instagram content, right? Raw head style talking videos, posting around once a day, or at least he used to. He's posting a little bit less now. But the goal here is to attract one specific person, is simply to go viral and generate as many leads as possible. Just get people to know him, to like him, and to actually trust him. Okay. If we look at his actual YouTube, though, this is the most important platform, right? Because with YouTube, this is where people are going to watch you for the longest, as the videos are simply longer. And this is where you can actually generate the best leads. The issue, though, is that Cardinal Mason, he just started, posting again recently. Like, he just started posting consistently recently, right? If you take a look here, he was posting pretty consistently like 9 months, 10 months ago, 8 months ago, but then he just took a break, like out of nowhere. Like 4 months ago was his last video, and then, 1 month ago. Just a jump like that, 3 month break. I'm not sure why. Maybe he was going through stuff. Maybe he was, you know, working a lot. I don't know. But what I'd recommend he does is he continues to post consistently, right? Like over the last month, he's been posting around like once every 1 to 2 weeks. I think that's really good. If you were to keep that up and maybe even amp it up to like once a week, he'd be able to generate twice as many leads and twice, as high quality leads as, like I said, YouTube leads are much higher quality than like TikTok and Instagram leads. But if we look at his actual content, right, like he's doing things pretty well. He's posting some top of funnel content to cast that wide net, things like, lifestyle content, videos like this right here, just like vlogs, right? This is what's really going to cast that wide net, generate leads, not specifically to sell them, but just to get new people onto your channel, to get more views on your actual middle funnel content, which is where you're, giving value, where you're talking about your actual business model. Like these videos right here, these videos right here, these three videos, middle of funnel content, and these are perfect, right? Like you post a lot of top of funnel content to get eyes onto your channel, get leads into the pipeline, and then middle of funnel content to actually give them value, to filter out the people who are just eating cereal watching YouTube versus the people who are actually eager to learn, eager to make a change. Right? And then bottom of funnel content, videos like student testimonials, right? These are 20-minute testimonials where he's talking one-on-one with his students who have seen like very, very good success. Right? Another thing that Mason does though is he appears on podcasts with other channels, right? This is just to further increase his brand awareness. Like right here, he's with Jimmy, like one of his boys, Ben Bader, this guy right here. I forgot his name, but the Squid Talk guy, right? So maybe you don't know who Mason is, but if you know who any of these other people are and you watch this video, now you know who Mason is, and he's further increasing his brand awareness, getting his name out there, and just getting new leads into the pipeline that weren't in there before, right? So that's basically all his organic content right here, all his organic systems, and the goal with all these is to get people to do three things, right? Number one, know him. Number two, like him. And number three, to trust him, right? He's posting value content through things like YouTube. That's where he gets the trust factor. Through his short form like Instagram, TikTok, that's where he's getting people to actually know him and people to like him. Once you have all three, you hit the gold mine, you hit the jackpot, and that's when you're able to really sell an info product, right? A lot of people think that you need to just give value, get people to trust you. But that's not the case because if people trust you but they don't know you or like you, or like on a personal level, they're not going to buy from you. I mean, some people will, but not as much people as could be buying from you. Whereas if they knew you, they liked you, and they trusted you. And in the like on the other hand, if people just knew you and liked you, but they didn't trust you, like say maybe you were only posting top of funnel lifestyle content and people didn't know about what you actually did, they didn't trust you as like a business person, as a coach, they wouldn't buy from you, right? So Mason does this really well. Like through his YouTube, he's getting people to trust him. Through his short form, he's getting people to know him and like him. And all together, the goal with all of these platforms right here is to get people to watch him for 7 hours, and that's how he really gets people to buy from him, right? Because if you guys have seen the study, I believe it was by Harvard, or maybe by some sort of university, but basically it takes an average of 7 hours to get somebody to actually buy from a brand, right? So YouTube is the main place where you want to actually get that watch time up, right? Because if you post 12 videos on YouTube, that right there could add up to 7 hours, and that's what gets people to feel comfortable buying from you on average, right? If we take a look at his actual paid content, his paid media, we see he's not running that many ads right now. He's only got 5 active ads. But when he's running a webinar, which I'll get into later, is when he starts really pumping out ads. He does that around like once a month, right? But he's running a lot of retargeting as well as a lot of like cold ads to his free training, right? Like this video right here is, pretty good, right? Like it's a retargeting ad. It's cheaper than cold ads, and it's nurturing his audience that already exists, right? So for those of you guys who don't know, a retargeting ad, you take people who already know you, and you're basically just putting your ad in front of their face. It's a lot cheaper, and you're just people who already know you. Just like give them that extra push. Like with this video, he's giving them a call to action to go to his free training, but he's really pre-handling a lot of objections, right? This ad also has multiple versions, right? So you could actually split test everything, get data, and see which ads are performing the best, right? Right here, he's targeting a very broad avatar, right? Post grads, people working in 9 to 5, people who don't like their job and who have FOMO of AI and who actually want to take advantage of it. Like right here, you see this. New grads, listen up. There's a good chance that AI is already slashing your career, blah, 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 blah. Right? He's casting a very wide net of a wide audience to get them to click on this ad and, actually go down to his free training, right? He's also got some static ads though, where he's really just like, giving testimonials, like showing people that he knows what he's doing. This right here is a Facebook ad, and it's of a middle-aged woman, so it's really relatable to the reader. Like Sharon right here, making $13,000 a month, 30 hours a week, $200,000 a year. This is really like old people. They see this, they're like, "Whoa!" And then they just end up like old people. They see this on Facebook while they're on their like recliner chair, and they fucking love it, and it works. Like a lot of Mason's testimonials come from older people, like older women, older men, but just like not like the breast scales ICP. If you guys know what that is, it's like teenage guys. Like Cardinal Mason, it's kind of similar, but it's also kind of the opposite, right? If we were to actually take a look at where all this traffic is going, though, we come to these 3 funnels right here. He's got 3 main funnels. Number 1, his webinar. Number 2, his actual VSL funnel, and then his DM funnel, right? And like within his VSL funnel, he's got a couple different versions. But to jump straight into things, let's start off with his webinar funnel, because this is where he's generating the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. So basically, he'll start by running ads to this page right here. Okay, webinar funnel to this sign up page right here. He's instantly calling out his ICP of people working 9 to 5, people that want to take advantage of the AI, like the AI gold rush, the AI opportunity. And overall, it's just a very good landing page, right? He's got a very, very consistent color scheme of like black, white, green. And honestly, big props to whoever made this landing page, right? Right here, one thing he does, one thing that, you should really do if you're running a webinar is add some sort of urgency right here. Signups closing soon. Like signups aren't closing soon. I mean, maybe like if the class is starting soon, then yeah, I guess signups are closing soon, but it's usually bullshit. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest with you. But the leads, they don't know that, right? So you have that sign up there, or you have that little bar there, just adding that urgency, giving people that extra push to sign up, right? Right here, he's breaking down the actual benefits of his business model, which I think is really good, right? Because a lot of people they're learning about drop shipping, trading, SMMA, this that, But right here, he's like giving you the tangible benefits of copywriting versus like, another business model. Right. Another thing though, multiple CTA buttons throughout the entire landing page, right? Up here, down here, multiple landing pages, right? Right here, he's setting the frame, just explaining what's going to happen in the free class, like the introduction, all the topics right here, just to give people an understanding of what's going to happen. And he's got some timestamps right here of like an actual agenda, right? To get people to know what's going to happen. They can write this down if they want to. And again, another call to action button right here, tons of testimonials, building tons of trust, pre-handling a lot of objections right here. Because some people, they're not going to trust this. Some people are going to think, oh, he's scamming. Who is this guy? But these testimonials, they shut them right up because obviously this has worked for other people. Why wouldn't it work for them? Right? After like you click one of these buttons though, like the yes I want to attend, the one of like fucking 20 buttons he's got on there, you could funnel down to this right here, right? His actual opt-in so that he could send you like email reminders, text message reminders, just like a reminder sequence to actually get you to show up to the webinar. Because you'd be surprised, a lot of these people sign up, but they don't end up showing up. So by having this sign up right here, you can send them automated text messages and just, blow them up, get them to show up so you could actually make money. Because of course, if they don't show up, he doesn't make any money. After you register, you get taken to this landing page right here. It's just a post sign up video. It's simply to improve show rate and really like set the frame for the call, right? Like he's talking about what's going to happen on the webinar, on the live training, and he's just congratulating his leads on signing up, setting the frame, like I said, explaining how it all works, telling them to be focused and take notes, tells them to show up on time, and make sure that they are aware that they will receive emails beforehand. Because Mason, he needs to send them emails, and he lets them know on this video right here to check his email folder, to add them to your main inbox. That way they don't end up like in promotions, in spam, anything like that. And I think he does this really well. I think this is a really good landing page, right? One thing I really like is these FAQ videos right here, because these are, pre-handling a lot of objections, right? Like people thinking, why should I start now? Right? Like pre-handling that objection. People who think maybe I don't have that much time. Like in this video, he says you really don't need that many hours. So anybody who was thinking, maybe I shouldn't do this because, I'm in school, I'm working a 9 to 5, I have kids. He shuts them right up by having this video right here. Okay. Another thing though is he's showing a lot of in-depth student testimonials. Like these aren't just screenshots. These are videos, live videos with his leads who have, or like with his students who have, seen success. And a lot of these are women, right? Because a lot of these are catering towards, like I said earlier, a lot of older women, right? And if you're seeing that women could get shit done as a man, you're probably going to be able to do it too. Okay. But yeah, just a lot of in-depth student testimonials simply meant to like build a lot more trust. Right? As for like after you sign up, you instantly receive a confirmation email right here, basically just telling you what's going to happen, setting the frame for the webinar, and all that stuff. Right? Very simple. Right away, you see this, webinars happening. Get ready. Right? Right here, he's got a reply email. This is really good because he'll send you this email, and the point of it is to get you to respond to it, because once you respond to an email, the following ones aren't going to end up in spam and promotions. They're going to end up in your main inbox. And he needs to make sure that you receive all the following emails, because if you don't, then you don't show up to the webinar. And if you don't show up to the webinar, he doesn't make money. What I'd recommend Mason do though is have this email, or just have some sort of like reply CTA on the confirmation email, because this right here would end up in promotions or spam if they didn't respond to this initial message right here, right? So I'd recommend he like merges this into the first email, right? Then he's got some 5-hour, 3-hour, and like 15-minute reminder emails before the actual webinar starts, just to plant those seeds in their head and get them to actually show up. Because of course, if they don't show up, he doesn't make any money, right? One thing I'd recommend he do though is he makes these more personalized. Like this message right here, he literally added sent from my iPhone, knowing damn well he didn't write it himself, and he definitely did not send it from his iPhone. But here, it's just a webinar jam email, and it doesn't look personal at all. It looks very software like, and it's really likely to look like land in spam or something, right? If we were to take a look at his actual webinar though, I think he does this very well. This is one of the greatest webinars I have ever seen. But basically, he starts it off with a simple introduction, right? Showing who he is, setting the frame of the call, all that, right? Like right here, setting the frame, showing how it's going to go. He's going to help you, training, blah, blah, blah. Then he's showing who he is, right? Like with a webinar, you want to start off with an introduction, setting the frame, and then you want to go into your story building relatability, getting people to trust you, getting people to like you, getting people all that stuff, right? Right here, he's literally showing himself working at fucking Burger King. I think this is Burger King. I don't know. I've never exactly worked there. But regular dude from Canada, not dumb, not smart, signed 2 clients his first month. He's instantly building authority, showing his story, showing that he's not special, that he's not some Nepo baby, not some rich kid. He really got it out the mud, and he's really relating with the people watching this video, right? He talks about his story, right? Making $4,500 his first month of copywriting, all the way to making $60,000 in his biggest month. And he's just building so much authority to start off this webinar. Everybody watching is thinking, okay, I need to listen to this guy because obviously he knows what he's talking about, right? Here, he's showing his student testimonials of people who made more money than him. This guy right here, $65,000 in a single month, 85,000 in a month, in 13 months, right? Showing student testimonials, building more trust, just getting people to be like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. He's setting that frame. He's planting those seeds before he even gets into the free training. So once the free training comes, everybody knows, I got to listen. This guy knows what he's talking about, right? More student testimonials, $31,000 a month in just 8 months. Like I said, really, really building trust. Right here, this is something that's really good. He's, giving people instructions on how they can get the most out of this free class, and just increasing retention and increasing their engagement, right? Because the more that somebody could pay attention to this, the more likely they're going to be to get sold, right? If they just have this running on in the background, they're not going to buy from him because they weren't listening to anything. But he's telling people to get to a quiet place where they could lock in, to open their notes app, write down key points, get ready to learn, all that, right? He's got today's agenda. He's, again, setting the frame for the call, talking about how it's going to go, right? Also showing off more student testimonials every couple of slides, right? Constantly reinforcing the fact that he knows what he's doing, that he's obviously a good coach, and that he's obviously helping other people make money, right? Like more student testimonials of him literally changing lives, right? Right here, he's giving an incentive to actually watch the entire webinar. I really like what he does here. He gives specific timestamps, right? There's a big surprise at 7:52 and another bigger one at 8:16. This is just going to be him pitching his program, but he's positioning it as a big surprise that you have to stay in the webinar to actually get access to. Okay, right here, he's breaking down the business model. This is where he's actually giving away sauce, right? But he's already planted so many seeds, and so many people watching are already sold. But now he's just giving more and more value, right? He's talking about copywriting now. He's breaking that time objection right here. If you can't tell, but he's really pre-handling it. All you need 3 to 5 minutes to write an email, 3 to 5 minutes to write a blog, 3 to 5 minutes to write a short form script, 10 to 20 minutes to write a long form script. 1 hour a week per client who you decide to work with. He's really, planting that seed in his audience's head that this business model is the way to go. And 1 hour a week, people are listening to this, people who are in school, people who are working a 9 to 5, thinking damn, I could really replace my job with 1 hour a week. Okay. Next slide is, just him talking about AI then versus now, all that, business owners, why copywriting is good. Again, rotating testimonials every couple of slides, recapping what we've learned so far, and, showing his story again, further building trust, further building relatability. Right here, he was a depressed kid smoking weed in college, working at fucking Burger King or Subway. I don't even know where this is, bro. And honestly, he's really just coming off as a normal dude. He doesn't seem special. He doesn't seem like, anything out of the ordinary. He just seems like a guy who learned a skill, capitalized on it, and, made money. Again, showing more and more testimonials, right? This slide right here is the most important because this is obviously the point of the webinar, to make money. But before he pitches, he asks his chat for permission, and he positions his pitch as a special offer, okay? So this is literally what he says. I have a special offer for you. Put a 1 in the chat if you want it. I have a special offer for you. Put a 1 in the chat if you want it, okay? So people are spamming 1. Give me this special offer. Give me it. Give me it. And then he positions his mentorship as a gift, right? So it's not buy my course. It's not pissing anybody off. It's literally a gift he's offering to help them. He's positioning it as him going in, giving you one-on-one access to him and seven other copywriters who are all making six figures a month, and putting you in a great position where failure isn't even in the equation. Right? He's positioning his offer as a mentorship rather than a course. Right? Because what a lot of the consumers don't realize when it comes to like info products is that courses and mentorships are two different things, right? Like you could be selling a mentorship, but to everyone else's eyes, it's just, oh, he's selling a course, right? But he's making sure not to position this as a course, but rather as an actual mentorship, right? Like he pre-handles a lot of that skepticism right here. If you think the special offer is going to be a $500 course that I give you access to you today, never talk to you or answer any questions for you, leave you with 100 hours of videos to watch, and you spend the money and never go through it, he pre-handles that objection right there. This is a very, very good slide that you should be stealing when you are running webinars. Right here, he's actually going through the pitch of what you get in his program, the Copy MBA Inner Circle. You're getting all these master classes, these playbooks. You're getting one-on-one access to him, one-on-one access to his coaches, right? Complimentary calls, all this stuff right here. All you have to do is give a yes in the chat, and boom. What he's doing once he starts to pitch, though, is he's adding this into the comment section right here. This is basically a link to apply to his actual Copy MBA Inner Circle. So he's putting this in the chat while everyone's blowing up, everyone's hyped. He's putting the link to go and book in a call with a closer who's going to end up closing the deal, right? Mason, he doesn't do any of that himself. But right here, he's just building more urgency. If you schedule a call tonight, you get a free bonus, he says. This is probably some shitty little bonus that, nobody would even really benefit from. But he's getting people to think, damn, I need to do this tonight. Because, of course, if they don't do this tonight, he's not going to make money tonight. So, obviously, he wants to make money tonight. If you sign up today for 100% free, you get something that's valued at $199 normally. Right? And everyone tells us it's worth much more. I guarantee nobody tells them that. But that doesn't matter, okay? He's claiming that everyone tells him it's worth much more, even if it's not. Okay, so that right there is just so much perceived value, and you're getting it for free if you sign up today. So if you're a lead watching this, you're like, damn, I need to sign up today. I need to book in a call today. Otherwise, I'm gonna miss out on this opportunity. Right? Just more slides right here. Right here, he does something really, really good though. He plays a voice note from a testimonial from somebody whose life got changed. I believe it was an immigrant, somebody like that, somebody who came to this country, nothing, found copywriting, really made it out the mud, and this really just like hit deep, bro. Like you listen to this, you're like, damn, either this guy's a really good fucking scammer, or he really fucking knows what he's doing. It's one or the other, right? Right after though, more testimonials, so it can't be the first one, it has to be the second. He can't be a scammer because he's helping this many people. Testimonials. Broke 19-year-old living at home with his parents, made $7,000 his second month, $15K his fourth month, $45K a month with copywriting now. And then on top of all that, he gives a 100% money back guarantee. So now you have literally no reason not to do it. Right? Like you've just gone through all these slides as a lead. You've gotten so much sauce. You see all these other people winning, and you get a 100% money back guarantee. That's literally amazing, right? But of course, there's still some people who aren't going to book in a call right away. So what he does is he goes into frequently asked questions, and he handles the three most common objections, right? So he has a slide. How much money do I need to get started? How old do I need to be? Can I make this work if I'm in a 9-to-5 or in school? There's a money objection, an age objection, as well as a time objection, right? Some people are going to think, oh, maybe I don't have enough time to do this. Maybe it's not for me. Right? Some people are going to think, maybe I'm too old, maybe I'm too young, right? Some people are going to think, maybe I don't have enough money to get started. So what he'll do is he'll literally talk about people who started with no money. He'll show you testimonials from people who are 15 years old, from people who are 45 years old, and he'll show you testimonials from people who are working in 9-to-5 who don't have that much time. Right? Another thing though is he had like 7 or 8 more slides on top of this, and he's just handling so many objections. So if you're somebody who was on the edge, these slides right here are going to make you be like, okay, let me take that next step. Let me book in that call because obviously it's going to help me, right? So he's positioning it in a way that's in the lead's best interest rather than just hoping that the lead actually buys from him, right? Right here, he's doing a Q&A. Like he's actually speaking to the chat live making it feel really personal, answering questions. And he brings on a special guest, Sanjay Slings right here. This is somebody who has been in like the copywriting space, and just like, him giving sauce as well, special guest. One thing that I've only ever seen Mason do though, and nobody else, is he brought on a student and had a live interview on the webinar. And this just handled any sort of skepticism, any sort of objections. This was literally like the nail in the coffin, because if you have the money and you're watching this webinar, you've seen all the testimonials, all the sauce, they guarantee, and you're literally listening to a student live explaining his results, explaining how he liked working with Mason, how he made tens of thousands of dollars in a single month, going from a complete copywriting beginner to being really good at copy thanks to Mason. Like, as a lead seeing this, you're going to book in that call, right? So from here, this is like the end of his webinar, right? You could either So from here, as a lead, if you hadn't already, now you click this link right here, and it takes you to a Typeform application where you can, fill in your information, book in a call, all that. We're going to get into all that in a second, but before we do get into like the entire process, let's take a look at his other funnels, right? Because his webinar funnel, that's just one thing, right? But he's also got, his VSL funnel as well as his DM funnel, right? And then his VSL funnel has got three different versions of it. So to jump straight into it, from his Instagram, from his bio, he's got a link right here to a free training, right? You click on this link and it takes you to this opt-in page right here, right? He's building exclusivity right away, right? Right away, building exclusivity by saying it's a private training. This shit is not no private. So right away, he's building exclusivity by, positioning this as a private training, right? He's building authority by calling himself a 24-year-old millionaire, and all, like he is, right? He's a figure of authority, and he's handling the experience objection with his copy right here. How you can do the same with no experience or marketing skills, right? Because a lot of the people who click on this page, they might think, oh, I can't do this. I'm a complete beginner. There's no way I can make $10,000 to $20,000 a month online. But he pre-handles that objection right here. And on the video thumbnails, testimonials, testimonials, testimonials. Just getting people to think, okay, this guy's legit. This guy's legit. Getting people to trust him, right? This is a fake page. Like, you can't access a free training right here. What you have to do is you have to click this link right here, click this little button, and you exchange your information, right? In exchange for the free training. Okay, so after you fill in this information right here, he gets your contact info. You get funneled down to this page right here, which is actually the page that you get taken to straight away if you click on his links from either YouTube or TikTok. I'm not sure why he does it. Like, if it were TikTok, I'd funnel them down to this page right here just to, get them to opt in, because they're usually a little bit shittier of leads. But from his YouTube and TikTok, you go to this page. It has no opt-in. It's just straight to the VSL, and then you could click apply for coaching, right? What I'd do is I'd switch this to just like, yes, apply, because when you have something like apply for coaching now, sometimes people will skip the VSL, just go straight to apply for coaching just to like see what it is. And when people do that and they don't watch the VSL, they don't get pre-sold, they usually don't end up buying, or they don't end up showing up, or they're just simply not serious, right? But from his YouTube and TikTok links, you get taken straight down to this page right here. From the opt-in, you get funneled down to this page, and then you get sent to a Typeform after you click this button right here. But let's look at what his ad funnel is looking like. Basically, if you click on his ads, you go straight to this page right here. So it's kind of similar to this, but it's a little bit different, right? It's similar in the sense that it's no opt-in, but it's a different VSL. And the reason for that is because ads are going to be to a bit of a colder audience, people who don't really know you that well. Sometimes they've seen you before, but most of the time they haven't, completely brand new. I really like what he does with this copy. If you're watching this in August, you could have a profitable AI business by September 15th. I think that's really good. That's really smart. But all these right here, from the opt-in page to this, VSL page right here to this VSL page, they funnel down to this Typeform application page right here. I think this is really good because, it gets your time commitment. Actually, before we even get into that, I forgot to mention, but when you actually click this link right here, you get redirected to this step right here, the Typeform application. So basically, all of his funnels, they connect to this right here. This is where he's actually qualifying his leads and getting them to book a call with a closer. Right? So basically, you fill out this application right here. Initially, just commitment, right? Do you have 10 plus hours to dedicate to copywriting? Time commitment. And then like your goal, right? Like what's your goal with freelance copywriting? Do you just want to make side hustle money like 0 to 3K a month or like 1 to 3K a month? Do you want to do this part-time? Do you want to do this full-time? This is just so him and his team can get a clear understanding of your goals, right? Right here, your obstacles, just like getting people to think like, okay, like I want to make 10K a month. At the moment, I'm currently struggling with skepticism, with procrastination, with a lack of direction, getting people to literally sell themselves. Okay, email, contact information right here. I like how Mason he doesn't ask for the contact information right away because a lot of people do that and it causes a lot of friction. If on the first slide of your type form you're asking for all their contact information, you're gonna lose a lot of leads. But when you ask it 3, 4, 5 questions into the type form, you've already had them make an initial time investment to fill out the first 5 questions. So it's going to be a no-brainer for them to actually fill out their contact info. This is so that like he could have a team of setters actually reach out to them, so you could send like email marketing, all that. Right here, he's got another commitment question just to like get people to sell themselves to obviously become problem aware. Right here, you have to, basically give like a sentence or two on why you would want to work, with Mason one on one. It doesn't matter what you type, it's just to get people to sell themselves. I'd recommend he take this away though. Honestly, like it adds a lot of friction. Like a lot of these questions are multiple choice, whatnot, but then this is like, it kind of sucks. It's kind of just like a lot of friction. But right here, this is the most important question of the type form, which is the financial qualification. This is where, it determines if you can actually book in a call with his closer or not. Okay, so you can answer one of 3 ways to this question, right? Like you could answer, saying you're making $500 to $2,000, and you get taken to this page right here. You could answer saying you're making $0 to $500, and then you get disqualified. You get taken out of the process right here, or you could say you're qualified, and then you get taken through this process, right? So to go step by step, what it looks like. If you're making $500 to $2,000, like if that's what you click, you go to this page where you're potentially qualified. Basically, he talks about possible like buy now pay later options. So this could be either like credit, things like Klarna, Split It, where you could pay like in dividends as a lead, pay interest over time, kind of like a loan. But the actual creator, like Mason, he gets everything up front, or just like simple payment plan options like 500, every month for the next 3 months, right? But he asked for your credit score right here to see if you would qualify for something like Split It, for something like Klarna, like a credit buy now pay later option, right? Because you need to have at least a 650 to a 750 or higher credit score to actually get approved for those programs, right? If you're disqualified, you get taken out of the process and that's it. You can't book in a call. He positions it in a way that's still nice. A member of our team will reach out if you're accepted. Nobody's going to reach out because you're unqualified. It's just to, get people to think something's there, right? Here, if you're qualified, you get taken to this question right here. Cool. Just before we get on a call with our coaches to see if we can help you with our goals, can you pick a time slot that you can 100% commit to? This is just further commitment to make people like, show that they're actually going to show up on time, because a lot of people, they don't want to like say they're going to do something and then do another thing. So if you ask them to make that time commitment to say yes or no, it like triggers something in them to get them to be more likely to show up. But of course, it's not completely necessary. But after this, you can go ahead, you can book in a call, and boom, right? After you've booked in a call, whether it's from the webinar, whether it's from his VSL funnel, from his ads, whether it's from, this page right here, or from Instagram, right? You get taken to this page right here, which is a post booking page. Basically, it's just a pre-call video, right? Like the point of it is to explain, like set the frame of the call, right? But also to get you to do certain things like move emails out of like your spam folders, move them into your main folders to get ready for emails that you're going to receive. And it's just to pre-handle a lot of objections, right? With these FAQ videos right here, really similar to what he did with the webinar. Like I said, it's just pre-handling ton of objections, right? Should I start now, right? Because a lot of people that they think maybe I should start later, right? Maybe I should, start on Monday, or like start on Monday because the perfect ad starts on Monday, right? How do I sign clients, right? Like just giving sauce, pre-handling objections, How much time do I need per week? This is pre-handling a very, very big objection, a very common objection, which is time. Because a lot of people think, oh, I don't know if I could do this. I don't really have time for it. So he pre-handles that with this video. I'm not a great writer. Can I still do this? Pre-handles that. So when people get on a call, if they actually went through and watched every one of these videos, which he tries to make sure they do, which if you're an info product owner or just like a coach or consultant, you need to have pre-call sequences. You need to make sure that people are watching these VSLs, these videos, to make sure that they don't have these objections when they get on a sales call. But Mason, like assuming they watch these videos, they're not going to have these specific objections on the sales call. So that way their closer could actually focus on, the main objections, right? Things like, oh, I need to think about it. Oh, I should talk to my wife, right? Last thing though, is just giving more testimonials. Just like very, very in-depth testimonials. These aren't just screenshots. These are actual video interviews of him with people who have, gotten life-changing results from his program, right? Like $31,000 in 8 months, right? $30,000 in 4 months, $65,000. These are very, very like huge case studies, right? Very like in depth. What I'd recommend he do though is he has these, like he puts these in-depth testimonials on his actual main landing page rather than just these. I think that would help his conversions a lot more, but of course, like to each their own, right? Another funnel he's got though is his like actual DM funnel. If you guys remember earlier when I was showing his Instagram, right, he has certain call to actions like DM me a specific word to start. For example, like DM me freelance to start. When you DM him that, you get greeted by an appointment setter, like a little guy texting, pretending to be Mason, right? First thing, like to basically sum up how this process goes, right? First thing is that initial inbound message. Are you texting freelance, right? From there, a setter is going to financially qualify you. He's going to build the gap with like getting your goals, where you are now, like obstacles, like what you need to really get to that next level. He's going to get that commitment, see if you're willing to make that change, willing to invest in yourself. He's going to pitch the possibility of getting on a call with a coach or with some sort of expert. He's going to book in that call, and then he's going to send over assets, things like VSLs, testimonials, case studies, value, things like that, just to get people hyped, to get people to want to show up to the call, get people to show up to the call with minimal objections, all this stuff, right? That covers everything on how he actually nurtures his traffic. So up until this point, how Mason is actually generating traffic, how he's nurturing that traffic. Now all that's left is how he actually converts that traffic from leads into customers, okay? So he has one of two processes, right? The main two processes. Number one, his opt-in, like his opt-in formula, his opt-in process, and his pre-call process, right? So for opt-in, right, this is for leads that submit an opt-in form but don't book in a call, or like leads that fill out an application but they don't book in a call right there. What happens is an appointment setter on the phone will call that lead within 10 minutes, ideally. You want to make sure like your setters are calling your leads right away. Ideally within 60 seconds, but as quickly as possible, because speed to lead is everything. You want to make sure you're calling your leads when they're actually still thinking about you, because if you call them 24, 48 hours later, they're not going to remember who you are. But an appointment setter will call the lead within 10 minutes, have a conversation, see where they're at, build that gap, either qualify them or disqualify them. And, depending on that, they'll go into one of two sections, right? If they're disqualified, we'll just send them, like, if they're disqualified, like the setter will just send them sales assets, things like, case studies, testimonials, just like giving them value, trying to help them out. But if they're qualified, the setter will then book them in for a sales call with a closer, and they'll go into, this part of the pre-call process right here. But let me break that down for you. Basically, when a lead submits a form and books in a call, whether this be from his webinar funnel, whether this be from his VSL funnel, or from his DM funnel, an appointment setter will call that lead within 2 hours, right? It's sometimes within 10 minutes, it's sometimes within 60 minutes. Most of the time, it's within 2 hours though, if it's a triage call, because you don't have to call them right away. But the point of it is to do a 5 to 10 minute triage call where you're building the gap and just like gathering notes for the closer and making sure that that lead is qualified. Because when a lead fills out a form and books in the call themselves, a lot of the times they might lie about like how much money they're making. So the point of this setter, like calling them and doing another call even after they already booked in a call, already like filled out a form, is to make sure that they're not lying, to like really qualify them, build that gap, and then gather notes for the closer, but also just like get them hyped up to show up to the call and just to like simply increase that show rate and increase the likelihood that they actually end up closing, right? Right here, the next part of the process is the setter actually sending over a VSL to that lead, basically like a video, again, pre-handling objections, setting the frame for the call, making sure they show up, sending assets, things like, case studies, testimonials, getting them hyped, all that, right? After that, a setter will, create a group chat with a closer as well as that setter and the lead. Basically, this is just gonna increase the authority of the closer, increase the likelihood that that lead shows up to the call, and just increase the likelihood that that lead actually ends up closing because the closer is gonna text him back and forth, answering questions, giving him value, giving him sauce, all that, right? 24 hours before the actual sales call is scheduled for, though, they'll receive text messages, email reminders, all that. 1 hour before the call, setter will actually call up the lead, and then right before the call, the setter, he actually ends up sending the lead to the actual group chat with the closer, the lead, and the setter, right? After the call, like once the call is scheduled, it can go one of three ways, right? Number one, the lead no shows. What Mason does, like what he has his team do, is his setters will reach out to that lead via phone call every day for 7 days. So 2 dials every day for 7 days. If they don't close, the lead's going to get nurtured for 60 days through email, through text message, just like giving them value, 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 and in the hopes that they'll eventually like get recycled, get back into the pipeline. And of course, right, like if they actually end up closing, then it's just money, money, money. That about sums it up. That's how Cardinal Mason is able to generate $700,000 month after month from his info product. Okay, if you're an online coach, creator, consultant doing anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 a month with your info product, and you're struggling to scale to those six-figure months, click the link down below. I'll jump on a call with you. I'll give you an audit of your business, see where you're at, and help you implement these systems so you could actually scale to the numbers that Cardinal Mason is doing of $700,000 a month. But yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, hope you got some value. Drop a comment, give some feedback. We'd love to hear it.